some casualties here from that Marine drop. It looks like Sen was able to clear this out, but he lost a lot of drones, and right now he's at 27 under 31. His income is showing him below the Terran player, but the Zerg player has an expansion. So I think right now both players could be considered even, especially considering Ensnare is about to get his own expansion up. We'll see what happens, but I think Ensnare, it might be in his best interest now to throw down a couple more Raxes. Wow, his macro is slipping a bit here. 1,000 of each resources. He really needs to throw down, I think, 2 more Raxes and start relying more on Marines and Marauders, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think, oh, these Hellions coming in here trying to roast up some more drones. And I think, let's take a look at the units tab. Yeah, wow, Sen lost about 5 or 6 more drones there. And Ensnare is keeping the pressure on. He is just pulling everything out of his magical hat. He's burning drones left and right, dropping tanks, dropping Marines, using Vikings to snipe Overlords. And now he is looking to secure this expansion. Notice he is throwing a bunker here. Nice positioning. There is a Zergling here. It is going to disrupt some of the fortifications. Sen does have about 5 Mutalisks. How many Vikings are in play, though? There are 3 Vikings here. That is not enough to deal with these 5 Mutalisks. It actually takes more than 1 Viking to kill 1 Muta, and I think Ensnare here might be in a little bit of trouble. His expansion might get raided. The missile turret goes up, though. The missile turret goes up, so I think Ensnare is going to hold on. Wow, this game is starting to progress into the land of epicness, as indicated by almost all games that play on Desert Oasis almost always go into some kind of a late game macro mode. Look at the units for Sen. Let's take a look at the army counter. Both players relatively even. Income tab showing both players. It looks like Sen might still be a little bit ahead because he's still been mining on 2 bases, and it looks like he's caught up in the drone count now, 36 to 36. But right now, it does look like Ensnare is starting to mine out of this expansion, and Sen's going to have to do something about that. And I'm surprised he hasn't grabbed a 3rd Expo yet. It looks like he's going to sneak a couple of his speedlings here, but notice the great building positioning by Ensnare. These Zerglings are not going to be able to do a darn thing. There's tons of Hellions going to burn away those Zerglings. No problem. That attack is thwarted. And the Mutas here, that's a lot of Mutas for Sen. I'm surprised that Ensnare doesn't have more Marines on the ground. Oh, these Vikings are going to get taken out by the Mutalisks. Unfortunately, Vikings only have a bonus to Armored and not to Mutas. And Mutas are actually very, very good against Vikings. Where are the Marines for Ensnare? Wow, he just lost a huge battle there. The Mutalisks are still alive, and Ensnare desperately trying to fall back to his missile turret. 2 more Vikings coming out of the starport. That is going to force Sen back. These Mutas are very, very weak, but they have definitely earned their right in the swarm, killing off several of the Terran players' units. Looks like Sen now is interested in grabbing this gold expansion. That is what he needs to do. I'm surprised that he is still playing 2 hatch Mutas this late in the game. He is grabbing this Expo meanwhile as well. There's a Hellion just parked there, just chilling out. But I'm surprised that Sen hasn't switched into Hydras. He does have a Roach Warren out. The production tab isn't showing any Roaches being produced. Neither are there any upgrades or Evo chambers. I think I might have just saw an Evo chamber go down there, yeah. I'm still interested why Sen hasn't decided to place any Hydralisks out. I think he's going to need Hydras because the game is starting to progress to that stage where, well, you know what? Ensnare isn't throwing down extra barracks. So maybe I'm wrong. I would have expected 20 minutes into the game right now. Wow, big battle though going on right here as Sen is going to chase down these Vikings, killing off a ton of the Vikings. Wow, tons of Vikings going down, and now the Mutas have free reign over the production facilities. There are some Marines on the ground, but not quite enough for Ensnare. Ensnare here in a lot of trouble. He's not going to be able to get units out to deal with these Mutas, and these Mutas can just chill here and take out the units as they spawn. But what I wanted to say before the action occurred is, why hasn't Ensnare thrown down additional Raxes and focus more on Marines and Marauders? He does have the shield upgrade on the raid, but he only has 2 barracks. I don't think that's enough. And I think Sen, realizing that there's only 2 Raxes on the ground, he can continue to play 2 hatch Muta. And he does have this expansion up here. He does have this expansion up here. He's starting to get back into this game, and he does have a Carapace on the way. And I think he might be thinking about just playing pure Roaches, perhaps. And maybe we'll see a Hydralisk then go down in a little bit. We'll see what happens. Sen here with a lot of Mutalisks in the air, about a full control group. That's about 12 right there. But Ensnare is fully mining happily off of 2 bases, while the army count is showing, I believe, a huge differential. Oh, there it is. Here is Thor. 100 supply for the Zerg player, 90 supply for the Terran, so the Terran's slightly behind, but he does have the ultimate counter to the Mutalisks. These Mutas really don't want to clump up against the Thor. The Thor is just going to rage against these Mutas. Wow, look at that. About half of the Mutalisks going down to that Thor and Viking combination. I think this Thor's already got 3 kills racked up. And now Ensnare is definitely gonna want to get some more ground troops. He's pure Marine right now, and I think if Ensnare did decide to go for roaches, or excuse me, Sen, he might be in a good position. Let's see if he's getting any. Yeah, he's got 8 roaches on the way, Carapace and Missile, as well as speed for his roaches. He is throwing down the Hydra Den now, so we are finally seeing the mid-game tech switch at 22 minutes into the game. Ensnare here with a pretty menacing force off of only 2 Raxes. He's got a decent army of Marines and Marauders, and the question is he going to be able to take out this expansion? There's a lot of drones there for him to feast on, and he's got a pretty large army. The Thor here needs to get with the flow of the army here, because there's a lot of Mutalisks there. These drones, oh! Hadouken on the drones, about 8 drones in the Congo line getting taken out with a little bit of an aftershock right there. Toasty drones getting taken out. Let's take a look at the units tab. 49 drones for the Zerg player Sen. So Sen actually had a lot more drones than Ensnare, but that just evened it up right there, along with taking out the expansion. Right here, this is exactly what Ensnare needs to do, but Sen has an opportunity to counterattack. Does he have any army forces, though? He's actually supply blocked right now, and he's getting mined out of the main. And I think he's just chilling here. He's waiting for the Terran player to advance forward. And then there's going to be a big battle that is going to determine who's going to come out ahead. That is a lot of speedlings, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know where the group of Marines and Marauders were. These medevacs late to the party. And I think, oh, Ensnare is going to take out this entire army. And Sen is going to take out the entire army. And Ensnare is going to be forced to fall back. Wow, but he was able to get this expansion up during that entire action fest. The important thing, though, is he is behind after that battle. Even though he was able to take out this gold expo, now's Sen's chance to move out and make something happen. And he needs to attack. He needs to stop this expo from going up so that he doesn't fall behind in economy. He can't let the Terran player get another expo. And I like how he's spreading this creep with his creep tumors all around the map. What you want to do, if you're Sen right now, is spread that creep all the way, make a highway to the Terran player's base. That's what you want to do. It makes your forces much more mobile. Look at this cute little Viking just chilling up there on the rocks. Ensnare here has got to be careful. I'm surprised he's not rallying more troops over here. His army count is showing a slight deficit, 91 to 112. And, oh, these SCVs are going to get taken out, too. Where is Ensnare's army? Here's his army. That's it. That's a pretty paltry army for Ensnare. This doesn't look too good, as Sen here is coming out with a much more massive force. He's going to try to snipe out this command center before it can morph into a planetary fortress. It's going to be close, but I think the command center is going to get taken down before it can morph into that deadly planetary fortress. Here it goes, but it is a little bit too late. The Thor getting into the action, but the planetary fortress goes down. And that was an epic building snipe right there for Sen. Exactly what he needed to do. Keep the Terran player on a measly 1 base, which right now is starting to get mined out. Income tab showing the Terran player is starting to run low, and the Zerg player still mining somewhat on the natural. But he's got a huge income here from the gold. That's what's keeping him ahead in this game. And Sen looking very strong indeed as he's looking to reclaim this expansion. Ensnare here at 0-1, 0 armor, 1 weapons. He is moving out with a small task force on the other side of the map, seeing what he can make happen. And really, I'm surprised that Ensnare has still been operating. Look, well, I guess he does have 2 more racks, so he's on 4 racks right now, which is decent. I think he needs more. Ensnare here is pushing in with a pretty huge army. His army at 132 supply, Terran player at a mere 152, but somehow his army just looks so much smaller. The Thor is going to get sniped. Oh, it gets taken out. The infantry trying to hightail it into the bunkers, but they are going to just get completely demolished by Sen. That is a huge army of Zerg units, and Ensnare GG's as he realizes that he was getting mined out. So Sen there showing how the Koreans handle the early pressure with the siege tank and how to take out the Terrans. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And stay tuned for more StarCraft 2 videos coming in the near future. Thanks a lot, guys, for subscribing, checking out my channel, donating, and helping me out in any way possible. I really do appreciate it, guys, and continue to tune in. Thanks a lot. HD signing out.